Hi, I'm Bob Sambol, and this is a rare conversation with Buddy Cramer. Well, Buddy, we're here at the Katy Trail Ice House, which, if people don't know, is always top 1, 2, or 3 in liquor sales in the state of Texas, which is an amazing statistic, fact, whatever you want to call it.
We're still behind baby dolls, though.
Well, you're always going to be behind baby dolls. I mean, you never. But strip clubs are never going to go away, no matter what. So I always start off with this question: is in 6th grade career day, what did little Buddy Cramer raise his hand and say, "I want to be"?
Well, I don't know if I had many thoughts at that time, but I know this. I guess I just wanted to be like my dad, and my dad was, at that time, really big into electronics, defense electronics and stuff, and I always thought that was really cool. So I was really early to the tech type thing.
All right, so you've ended up at Katy Trail Ice House. At 6th grade or around there, you wanted to be just like your dad, but then you became a lawyer. How'd that happen?
Roundabout way. Actually, my dad subsequently went into real estate, so I went to University of Texas, and when I got out, he wanted me to work for him in real estate. And I found that I was probably the worst real estate guy that ever existed, and I just thought, man, there's got to be something else. And so I just got really interested on my own in legal stuff, just current events and stuff always drew me to it. So I decided I wanted to go to law school. So I went kind of late at 29. I was like the old guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed that for a time.
So you're in law school, you become a lawyer, and so how did you end up here? I can't figure this one out.
That's a good question. My love of the law went so far, about 5 years. And then after those 5 years, you're just like, man, this is a grind. And then you get up to where I was, about 20 years of doing it. And I'm like, I got to do something else. And so I had my best friend was a guy named Joe Tillotson, and he had started the Barley House and a couple other restaurants that didn't do so well. And then he decided he wanted to do something else besides that. And we started doing stuff together, and then we just tripped onto this place, Banditos in Snyder Plaza, that we opened, and kind of found, we were terrible at it, and then kind of got good at it and really loved it.
Mm-hmm. And you still have Banditos?
I still have Banditos.
And Banditos have been open how many years?
Since 2007.
Wow. So we're here at Katy Trail Ice House. You figured out this location on the Katy Trail, which a lot of people walk and run and bicycle and walk their dogs. And so, I'm asking you this question. I'm a lifetime restaurateur, and there's a lot of other lifetime restaurateurs that spend their whole life looking for something like this, a location, that magical place. And here you are, you found it. So what was about this spot that said, oh boy, this is it?
Well, it was a swingers club, so I figured I couldn't do any worse.
That's amazing that it was a swingers club.
Yeah, it had like a 16-foot high fence all the way around it. It was like a compound. No, really, Bob, I didn't have the concept of what we do here now. I wasn't looking for that. I actually got called by Jack Gosnell and he said, hey, do you want to put like a Banditos there? The rent's cheap. And so I looked at it and I'm like, we could only get a 5-year lease at the time and with no options or anything. And so I said, well, it was really it's a good location. It's on the Katy Trail. It needs something like that. But what can we do? And originally, we're like, well, what if I just throw a bunch of picnic tables out and serve beer is kind of how it really started. And at that time we were thinking, well, maybe we get food trucks were the rage 15 years ago. That
Yeah.
was 2011. And so we just it kind of melded in this concept that actually now is really very expensive to recreate, and as I've found, but at the time, my thought process was, hey, let's just do this, and yeah, I think people will come and sit around and drink.
Yeah. Well, they have. So hospitality was always in the back of your mind because obviously you enjoyed a good restaurant and a good bar and all these things. And when Katy Trail first opened, was it an immediate success?
It was immediate.
Immediate.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And did you find yourself, oh boy, well, look what I got. And now what do I do with it?
Yeah, exactly. Because I was still, practicing law at the times, and I'm like, I was afraid. I'm like, when is this going to end? And at some point, you just realized that this needed to be my full-time endeavor. It requires a lot, and so enjoy it. And I've got to say, the one thing about the legal business that really helped me out was I was just very arrogant in my 20s, and going to law school and then practicing law, you learned you're really a servant, and so it really taught me like kind of how to be a servant to people, to make them happy, and I think all that is really translated to me in the restaurant business. I'd say that's really probably the biggest influence on what I do.
Yeah, well, that was one of the questions I was going to ask you. If the being a lawyer, how did that help you? So, with Katy Trail Ice House being this success, first of all, I got to ask you this question. I'm not from Texas, so where did the word ice
You're not?
house? No, I know it's hard for you to believe, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. So I never heard of the term ice house before I came to Texas. Where did that come from?
Well, so I went to University of Texas in Austin, and that is a really central, unique to Central Texas term. And it, best I can tell, looking at the history, that there were ice houses, and they sold beer also, and those became gathering spots, especially in Central Texas. So at UT, there were a couple of places around town named ice houses, and I always thought that was just really an interesting name, because what we are trying to communicate here, and that you see the Willie Nelson behind us,
Yeah.
and everything that we do, it is a Texas concept, and so I thought that it really kind of fit perfectly. But when we first opened, Bob, we literally had people calling up and say, "Hey, do you sell 30-pound blocks of ice?" So why are you calling it an ice house?
Yeah.
So.
Well, you just tell them it's $100. Come pick it up.
Yeah.
All right. So you got this one that's successful, and then you decide to open one in Plano. So you obviously now think that this works here, I can make it work anywhere else. That's a big jump for a restaurateur.
Well, it didn't happen quite that way.
Okay.
I thought my concept that could travel was Banditos.
Right.
And Banditos is great. It's a little, it's a busy, bustling little neighborhood restaurant. It's the type of place that outside of a mile radius, nobody's heard of it, but it's crowded all the time. And I thought I could take that to Plano, and we went there, and we were an amazing failure. And we had this long-term lease signed, and I'm like, I wonder if I can turn that into an ice house, and how would you do it? It's really good because it makes you think. A lot of times you and I and other people that own restaurants, we don't even completely understand our concept till you get into it a few years. Okay?
Very good. Yeah. That's
And
a
so
great thought.
I had to really get in depth and think, well, what is the ice house, and what really makes it? And so we converted it in about a 5 or 6 week period to an ice house. And really, what I reached down and tried to figured out what it was is what we really have is kind of a landscaping concept here. And it's all about the outdoors and people wanting to get outside and what you shade and how attractive you make those areas and stuff. And so it kind of surprised me. It forced me to understand what my concept was.
So you've been around now, how many years have you been open here?
15 in a couple of months. Yeah.
15. So you've been a restaurateur now for a little over 15 years. I know you're a kind of a student of other restaurants. You like going around to other restaurants and seeing what they do. And you know, we all have our little restaurant group and we all get together and talk. And you live in Dallas, which is the restaurant capital of the United States, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree.
What do you think is the difference between restaurants making it and not making it? Because you've seen it all. You've seen it happen. Banditos didn't make it. You thought for sure it was going to make it. This was an immediate success. So in your mind, which you're very analytical because of your legal background, what do you think? What do you think it is?
I think you got to first approach anything with humility and say, I don't care how good you are at what you do, you can be wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm still wrong from time to time. But I think that people try to make people follow what their vision is. And that's good. You need to have a core of like, hey, here's what I want to do. But you have to listen back. And people will tell you and they react, you know, you do something, then they react to it, and then you react to that. And so everything that I think that when you go to some people that they're just like, well, you know, I'm going to buy this amazing piece of artwork and put it on the wall. And it doesn't matter if it's a, you know, a Van Gogh, that people aren't going to really care. They want the feel of a restaurant and I think that people detect whether the people running it are listening to the customers and providing what they need. So I'd say the biggest folly is people just say, I'm going to go create this and everybody's going to get on board with it, as opposed to like, I am going to go create this, but I'm going to listen.
Yeah. Well, I often quote Phil Romano, who always said when you open a restaurant, 80% of the menu is what you know people want, 20% is what you think they want. And then as soon as you open, the customer will tell you.
That's right.
And I've met so many guys, young guys, who just think they're going to teach the customer a lesson. And yeah, that's great, but here's how I'm going to do it. And it's a big problem. It's a big problem for them because they're arrogant and they think they know better.
Yep.
And you learn quickly when you lose your money and someone else's money.
Yeah.
And then the next one comes harder to do, and the next one after that, harder even that.
Yeah, and it's a balance, though. You know, you do have to kind of stick with some core principles at the same time you have to listen. So it's like one of those things you're weighing it, you know, all the time.
Well, when I opened Bob's, I was not an immediate success. I was failing and struggling and fighting to hang on, and everybody had a suggestion for me. You should need to do this. You need to do that. Well, I'm stubborn and I'm not very smart, so I didn't listen. So luckily for me, I didn't listen because Bob's is basically the same as it was 32 years ago. We've evolved a little bit, but it stayed the same. Katy Trail Ice House has the same hospitality feel that it had when it was smaller and less busy, and it has now. I know you're constantly talking to the guys about what the customers want, how do we make it better. I know that you're certainly that way with the food, and you're a student of bourbon, and you've really taken that to, you know, it used to be just beer here, right? I mean,
oh, yeah.
And now you got this incredible bourbon collection, which rivals any of the high-end restaurants, including mine.
Well, at Lucky Dog down the street, but we do bring a few of those goodies over here, too.
Yeah. All right, so I'm glad you brought up Lucky Dog. So you're incredibly busy here. You told me the story that you needed more parking, so you bought a piece of property at a very high price for a parking lot, and you decided to build the Lucky Dog Saloon.
Yeah, well, that was a function of, the Ice House is really on some of the most expensive land in Dallas. And all the places around here, we rent really all the parking lots at night around here, and those started disappearing for development and so forth. And I could just see the future, which was we're going to have to build a parking garage or something. And opportunity came up to buy this land. So that was an old art supply place. And, the place kind of looked crappy. It was a 100-year-old building, but it had sheetrocked over. You walked inside, it was anything but pretty. So we were going to tear it down, and we're just going to be parking lots. And in the process of tearing it down, they started ripping off the walls and stuff. And then I realized underneath that was a really beautiful old building. And so we ended up not using all the building. We cut the building and then and kept a lot of parts of this 100-year-old building, and it's ended up great in terms of it's really pretty. I've always I was kind of put to the test. I'm always mad at everybody tearing down the history of Dallas. We have no old buildings, and I'm like, well, am I going to be one of those people? And I'm like, no, I'm going to do this, and we're going to do a cool little New York style tavern there. And I think Dallas needs that.
Cool New York style tavern with the best Detroit style pizza in town.
That's
right.
Sure.
For sure.
That's right. We got Detroit. We got
you got everything
you
covered.
got Texas mixed in there. Yeah.
All right. So, what advice would you give someone who's leaving a stable career and decided to take a risk in the restaurant business?
Ooh, I'd be really careful. I mean, I don't know that I can. To advise somebody with that, they've got to have the right kind of personality, I think, and work ethic. That some people think this is a glamorous business. You and I know it's a lot of hard work.
Wait till the toilets overflow.
Yeah,
yeah, it's not very glamorous.
And you're on the front line. We're on the front line of all those things, and begging plumbers to come out.
Yeah.
And but if somebody's got really ideas and has the I guess you don't. It's hard to evaluate what person is perfect for it, but you can get wiped out. Most people get wiped out in restaurants. They think they know. I can tell you one thing for sure. By visiting restaurants, you don't know anything about restaurants, right? Just because we all thought, or I thought I knew things about restaurants before I went there. I had this idea, okay, well, it's a 150-person restaurant. If 150 people walk in at once, they should just be able to serve that, right? And just crazy ideas that just don't end up being true. So you have to learn, how all that stuff works. So yeah, my advice would be the same as I said earlier. You got to face it with a lot of humility. You got to start recognizing what you don't know, and then try to pattern your concept and everything you do for customers to that.
You got to learn it without losing all your money.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which I did. When I started Banditos, we did nothing but lose money for a year.
Yeah.
And just on the verge of shutting it down. That's actually kind of an interesting one, Bob. So we opened in 2007. I don't know if you remember what happened in August 2008. But we had a market crash. So we had no business, and whatever business we had went in half. And we were getting ready to shut it down. But that proved, all of a sudden, people started going to their little neighborhood restaurants.
That's right.
And from that October on, we made money, up to the present day. So you never know where this stuff comes from.
No, I know. Okay. After all these years, what keeps you excited about this place, or the restaurant business in general?
Something new every day.
Yeah.
So when I was practicing law, it got so boring. I mean, I was in commercial real estate transactional stuff. It's okay, we got a horsey seller. His lawyer's an ass. They want this. Okay, put in plan A5. It was almost just like, okay, here's how I treat people like that. This is something new every day, and I don't think you can really be in a better business, because that really kind of keeps me going, and it's exciting. And then, as good as you are, if you just say, okay, we're good, and you just sit there, then before you know it, you're going backwards again.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's been great hearing your perspective. I love talking with you. I love when you come in our restaurant, my restaurant, and we talk about the business.
You have a great restaurant.
Well, thank you. and you're a great customer, and you're just a class guy. So we do this little thing called rapid fire.
Uh-oh.
I ask you a question, and you give me the answer. You ready?
Okay, sure.
Beer or margarita?
I got to go beer.
Okay. Early mornings, late nights?
Early mornings.
Oh, I thought you were going to pick late nights.
I have dogs that wake me up at 5 in the morning. So it's early
Lucky
mornings.
dog. Lucky dog,
That's
right?
right, lucky dog. Even whether I like it or not, I'm getting up.
Best compliment a guest can give?
You know, my restaurant's a little different than yours on this one. We have a scratch kitchen here. We strive to do, to really make good food. But people are shocked when they get good food here. So a compliment to me is, your food's actually really pretty good. And believe it or not, I take that as a compliment because they're surprised. They come in here and don't expect good food, and they get it.
I had the Bob's blue cheese salad on your menu. It was really good.
Yes.
Where'd you get that from?
I think I called this guy named Bob, and I said, Bob, I'm going to steal one of your salads. Do you want credit or not? And Bob said, well, if you're going to steal it, I want credit.
Okay. You have the right address for the checks, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
They haven't gotten there?
They haven't, for some reason, they
gosh.
haven't gotten there. One rule you never bend.
Never go backwards on something you've advanced on, and especially we're talking about food. Once I jump to a higher grade of meat or this or that, I never go backwards.
A trend you've ignored on purpose.
Okay.
I know I can tell you some from Bob's.
Yeah, THC beverages, just anything trendy, because we're anything but trendy. What have you at Bob's?
So at Bob's, don't eat red meat, you're going to die.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I added more red meat to the menu, okay? Don't eat carbs, because you eat carbs, you're also going to die. We added another potato, okay? Because when people come to our restaurant, they come here to celebrate, come to Bob's to celebrate.
Yeah.
When they come to Katy Trail Ice House, they come to have a good time.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily worried about their diet or what they got to do tomorrow morning. They're saying, hey, we're at Katy Trail Ice House. We're lucky enough to have a table.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day. Let's get drunk.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Legal training, blessing or a curse?
Oh, huge blessing.
Favorite seat at Katy Trail Ice House?
I have a little perch out here, and it's literally from there I can see. It's one of the only places I can see almost the entire patio and what's going on inside. And it's on the little corner up here, and it's almost nobody likes sitting there, and I love it.
Well, I think you should get like a lifeguard chair.
Yes.
That you sit up at top, and you have two beautiful
It
girls.
is. It's elevated. It's kind of that.
Two beautiful women with fans. Okay, last question. One word that defines great hospitality to you.
I don't know. Hospitality is just, to me, is chasing excellence. And one of my favorites. I know you have a Vince Lombardi. I forget which one you have at Bob's.
It doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up.
Yeah, well, I have a favorite Vince Lombardi, which is perfection is unattainable, but by chasing perfection, we'll catch excellence.
Wow.
And I always try
That's
to
a
do
great
that.
one.
Yeah, and so I'm always that, with whether we're talking about the people or whether I'm talking about the food or whether I'm talking the atmosphere. What can we do to make it better? So I'm sorry, I know that's longer than one word, but
it's great.
That's what it is.
Well, listen, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. You're an interesting guy. We've become good friends.
Yes.
I love when you come into Bob's. My employees and staff love when you come in because
Greatest steak in the world.
You're such a gentleman, and keep this thing going. And someday you'll beat baby dolls.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.